Okay, so it's a me. It's a me. Hello. I'm gonna have to reset a bunch of stuff like the sound alerts on channel player adapters probably aren't working right now. Because I kind of forgot to link that back up before I started stream. It's linked now, but I don't think it works retroactively. Anyway, hello. Um, long time no see. It's been a week, not a literal week, but I've had a bit of a
She's just
week.
a girl and she's on fire.
Hey
What do you
Slug, thank
expect?
you so much.
And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder if Quag will be on today.
Quag was also wondering about that until like 20 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the 29 months and the support. I really appreciate it. Um, let me greet everyone first. We got Huntress, Roddy, Moo Girl, Jules, Coffee, Priz, Slug, Pupty, Asa, Foster. He's back. He is back. Um, so yesterday was my birthday, and that time of year is curse. Every year, some shit just happens. So this year, it was 4 or 5 days of just like the worst internet connection I've ever had. Um, like most of that time, my download was fine, but my upload was just single digits, like at all times. It didn't break double digits until 2 days ago, and then it didn't get back up to above 20 until yesterday, like yesterday night. Um, so like crazy, but it was also just periodic, like multiple full outages throughout the day, inconsistent times. I just couldn't do anything that required me to have a stable internet connection, and that really sucked. Especially given that I tried to do this whole thing. Um, what else? Oh, there's a bunch of other adulty related stuff I gotta take care of. There's health stuff that popped up. There's financial stuff that popped up. It's just like one of those when it rains it pours concentration to 4 days. So I was just like in bed browsing YouTube and playing Pokemon, and I played all of Spider-Man Miles Morales like yesterday. That was really fun. Cool game. I like it. Really hyped for Spider-Man 2. But it was a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster. Um, thanks to the people who checked in to make sure I was okay. Yeah, I was fine. Just pissed off, shitty mood. Ice beats are fun to deal with. Yeah, yeah. Um, like I said, adultery stuff. No, no, I didn't say that. I did not. That's a whole different vibe. One time for the birthday bitch, two times for the birthday bitch. Fuck it up, it's your birthday bitch. You a bad bitch, and it's your birthday. Go ahead, fuck it up in the worst way. Yes, Moo. That's what I did. That's what I did. Hey, 9, thank you for the 13 months. 13 juicy months indeed. Thank you. Morning, it's Sakata. How are you? Um, so yeah, I still might have to take an additional day at some point in the next few days because I've got a bunch of adulty shit to do, and of course my
She's
stream
just a
schedule
girl
doesn't
and
line up
she's
with
on
going to
fire. There
places
you go, Quack.
because they're not open when I'm done.
13 juicy months.
So we'll see. We'll see. Schedule might still be inconsistent for the rest of the week, possibly. Um, Also a chunk of February I'll be gone. Anyone who's been around for a while, you know that every few months I take like a week. Um, but yeah, that'll be mid-February, assuming I can get this other stuff straightened out. Also, Dead Space remake comes out what today? Tomorrow? Tomorrow? Hey, Kitty, how you doing? And Quags the Hoe never would have guessed that. It's true. I'm just more stealthy about being a hoe in my advancing age. See the Redfall release trailer? I did not. I didn't have a stable internet connection when that was happening. It stabilized after, so like I didn't care to look for it. I might do that. Yo, Nunu, thank you for the 25. Happy birthday, Quag Curse, Quag H, Quag H, Quag H. Thank you. Qua, qua, qua. Sorry, qua. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And Dead Space is tomorrow. Cool. Unfortunately, I heard that Forspoken's kind of a love it or hate it type thing, which makes me sad. I was excited for that game for a long time. I'm still gonna try it. It's just less pressing in my backlog because I've got other stuff going on. Loving the gameplay, lots of mistakes, still fun gameplay. That's what I'm hoping to get out of it. Hey CZ, how are you? That's what I'm hoping to get out of it, Itsukato. I've heard, like, people shitting on the writing and stuff. It is not enough to deter me because bunch of reasons, but yeah. Borderlands, Disney Channel dialogue. Yeah, I don't care. The gameplay is what hooked me in the first place, so if the gameplay is good, I'll be chilling. It's not a build crafting game. If it has good combat, even if it's not build crafting-y, then I'll be okay with it. Titanfall 2 is on a 90% sale on Steam, so decided to get that. Great game. Does it still create vulnerabilities in your system for people to remotely execute code on your system? Because it did that for a while. Odd that that's happened as frequently as it has in, like, the last couple years. Because, like, in the last year, that's happened on Titanfall 2 and all of the Souls games. And that's weird that that's happened twice. Combat is the one thing I don't think I've seen bad words about, to be honest. And that interests me, Vince. That's something that I could vibe with. I didn't watch because spoilers, but I looked at D2H's stream titles, and he seems to be enjoying it. And he and I usually have the same taste in games, so that's enough for me to go off of as well. I just think it's cringy. It's a lot more realistic than people give it credit for. Yeah, if I was in games for realism, then I wouldn't be playing this. On the combat clunky, that's more a control scheme mess issue. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna try to force my PC to acknowledge its existence, which probably isn't gonna go well, or if I just grab it on PS5. Also playing Automata again, so the standard for that type of game is really high. Yeah, that's hard to beat. Hard to beat. Well, can't complain. How you feeling? I'm feeling okay. A lot less frustrated now that I seem to have a working internet connection, so like that's good. Dude, my upload didn't go above 10 for like 3 days, and then it didn't go back above 20 until yesterday. And yesterday's the first day in like 4 days where I didn't get any random outages. But it's finally something approaching stable. So I can get a stream in, and then spend my afternoon unfucking all the other stuff that went wrong this week. Almost done with my Wildflower review and have Dead Space on the roster. I am very excited for the Moo Girl Dead Space review. I myself started playing Link's Awakening Switch release last night. Interesting. Not a Zelda fan myself, but I'm glad you're enjoying. It's unfortunate the idle combos are repeats at the same 10 lines. That can be turned off. At least it can be toggled. If you guys haven't played Spider-Man Miles Morales, I actually really did enjoy that. It's definitely not like a sequel to Spider-Man PS4. It's more like an interquel, like it's a spin-off, but it does advance a couple plot points. But also, like, it did what Spider-Man PS4 did well, and it just kind of, the characters are really well executed. Like, Peter feels like Peter, Miles feels like Miles. Like, they're very distinct characters from one another. They also feel like they play really differently. I honestly think I prefer Miles' gameplay. Like, he doesn't have as many gadgets, and is, like, a little less finesse-oriented, but, like, it's a real power fantasy. Like, he's just stronger. That's just how it is. He's just stronger, but less skilled. And they kind of reflected that well throughout the gameplay and the story of each game. I just thought it was a good time. Recently got a PC port, and it took me a while to actually get around to playing it, but that was fun. Also the Greninja raid in Pokemon. That's tonight, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Something Forspoken deserves credit for is difficulty options was amazing for its genre. Difficulty customization getting better is something that I've really enjoyed seeing. In particular, it's I've noticed a lot. It's PlayStation games that are doing it more. Um, God of War, Ragnarok, um, Forspoken, Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales. All of those games have really expansive difficulty customization. And I think that's pretty cool. Forgot to play Scarlet at all this week. Modded Skyrim and both crafting distracted me. Understandable. Glenny and I were theory crafting stuff to be ready for the Greninja raid like last week, week before, so we're all prepared and stuff. Yes, Kevin. Yes. Stream. I know, it's exciting, right? Come on. Come on. And yes, I know I'm dragging my feet with starting, but I'm just making sure that my connection is as stable as it seems to have been. So I haven't played either Spider-Man game. I should get on that. The 2018 Spider-Man game is literally my favorite piece of Spider-Man media ever made. Yes, I have seen Spider-Verse multiple times, and I love Spider-Verse. The 2018 Spider-Man game is my favorite Spider-Man story, like, ever, out of all of them. Across comics, movies, animated, everything, it's my favorite. So, that's very high praise, but I mean it. And it scratches that same gameplay itch that that old Spider-Man 2 movie tie-in game that no one thought would be as good as it was, but it turned out to be an absolute banger. That game, it plays like that, but like modern. It's so cool. There's been good conversation about what people want out of difficulty because it's not purely a die-a-lot simulator. Yeah, and I think that's a good conversation to have because there are people who feel deterred by enemies just having a lot of HP or doing a lot of damage. There's people who feel alienated by that. So there's ways of having, like, you can customize enemy aggression with some modern difficulty options. They might get additional moves in their move set. They might get different elemental matchups. You know, we've seen these across a bunch of games I've played here, but stuff you guys have played as well. And it's cool to see all that stuff being more talked about. The only thing about the review is knowing what's enough, like, in terms of substance, like what you've covered. Yeah. That'll be a feel thing. About actually getting footage of marksman mode set up. Therapist canceling me, so I have a ton of free time now. Well, I hope you can get another appointment in. But yeah, if you've got the downtime, why not? Does it turn on auto dodge as a standalone option? Yeah, Spider-Man lets you turn, like, you can turn off QTEs entirely. You just be like, hey, make this a cutscene. You can make it so any button mash stuff, you can do button hold instead, which is really good accessibility for people with shitty joints like me. You can increase the dodge window, so you have more time for that. Little things like that are really nice. Accessibility, difficulty straddling, sort of. You can turn on, like, explicit hints. Like, when you press the hint button, it'll, instead of, like, pointing you at a thing, it'll just be like, hey, do this with this, and then it'll let you do this. Cool stuff. Never played Dead Space? It's one of the GOATs. It came along in a time where the survival horror genre was in a bit of a lull. So Dead Space was in the mid 2000s. It was 2007 or 2008. And this is the point in time where Resident Evil 4 had, like, revitalized it a bit, but it was still in the process of that pivot. So Dead Space was right before we got a bunch of bad Resident Evil 4 knockoffs. So the survival horror genre kind of, like, died for a little bit after that. Like, it's right when Silent Hill started really getting questionable. So with Resident Evil in its shit era, and then Silent Hill died, then there wasn't a lot going on, so Dead Space just slid in and was like, Hi, we're awesome. Recent Tomb Raiders have difficulty options for exploration, puzzles, and combat, which is also cool. You know, I still haven't played Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I played the first two, the reboot trilogy. I still have not played Shadow. I own it, I just haven't played it. Then Dead Space 3 came along. Yeah, Dead Space 3 is like, it's a really fun co-op game, but it's peak EA ruining things. Like, they just jam microtransactions in the game, and it's the culmination of the shitty Resident Evil 4 knockoff era, where it's third-person action shooter that used to be horror, and it's not done well. So all the horror aspects of Dead Space are mostly absent from Dead Space 3. It is fun with a friend, but it is absolutely mind-numbing by yourself. Oh, generic and boring. What, Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Okay, I'll avoid it. Hey, Ducky Dino, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. I got the late birthday present of a functioning internet connection again, so I'm back, and we're just catching up before I actually start playing the video game. Back in the relatively positive in the grand scheme of things, mental health of game ideas, no easy way to executing them. Every 4 to 6 months or so, I get an idea, and this would be my favorite game, and that's happened again. Not a terrible space to be in. Better games in your backlog, roger that. EA said kids like Call of Duty make Call of Duty. That's exactly what EA did to Dead Space move. And then, like, it didn't get received well, so they canceled the IP, which is crazy because Dead Space 3's DLC actually started to move it back in the right direction, like towards horror and stuff. And then they canceled the entire IP. Then it's like, oh, shit. Like, the Dead Space trilogy ends on a cliffhanger that has not been resolved in 11 years. Because EA killed it. They ruined it. Come to think of it, EA did the same thing to Mass Effect with Andromeda, but... And Fear, yeah. Yep. Like Gunfire? Gunfire is moving up the list, easy. Between you and Priz, and Rabbit recommending it a lot, it's starting to sink in that I really need to. Nobody likes single player games, yeah. Seen any of the Callisto Protocol gameplay? Very little, because I've tried to remain, like, as objective as possible there. I do follow the account on Twitter, so I've seen relatively often they've been, like, talking about features they've added. They're adding New Game Plus, and they've smoothed out a bunch of gameplay things. So I think I'll be willing to try out Callisto, with low expectations going in. Just see what it's about. Is it new Mass Effect release in development? It is. It is. Let's download the Star Wars game. Too many games to play. Which Star Wars game? Fallen Order. Great game. Great game. Really enjoyed. Looking forward to Survivor. March is going to be crazy with game releases. Hey, Rabbit. I was just talking about how you have assisted in talking me into playing Gunfire. Cautiously excited for the announced Perfect Dark reboot. When did they announce that, Nunu? I feel like that was a while ago, right? I don't even advocate Gunfire. I just play it so much you see me talking about it all the time. I guess that makes sense. Vermintide Gunfire is different. We'll have to squeeze in some Vermintide time, Chris, because I do want to try out, you know, the high-level stuff. Like, now that I have that level 30 thing, I want to try that out and start working on actually gearing so I can play Legend, but... Did something special to my PS3, is currently waiting for it to finish installing the stuff. You downloaded a game. Yes. Gunfire pretty good. Did PUBG joining the cult of Gunfire? Yeah, I gotta. Last year it hasn't already canceled project list, so fingers crossed. So, like, the last time they rebooted Perfect Dark, it lasted all of one prequel and then died again. Perfect Dark Zero was a launch 360 title, right? And then they just didn't do anything else with that. unless I missed a perfect dark game in the last 18 years. Oh no, that was a long time ago. Chat, I'm 28 now. That's wild. Oh, also before I forget, um if you're gonna get advanced, which is delicious and I need to get more actually. I drank a bunch of it yesterday. Um code QUAG30 is active through tomorrow as well. So you can get 30% off. Use code QUAG30. If you use the regular one, I think it's still like 25% off because all partners have a discount right now. But yeah, QUAG30, use that. They fucked that game in its launch. They fucked that game in its launch so hard. What, Perfect Dark Zero? Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, getting the counter up and we can do Dreadwind stuff. Or the new Blood Orange supposed to be real good. Blood Orange? Like, I just assume the actual fruit when you say that. Okay. Counter works. Let me get the timer up. Oh, advanced. We're still talking about advanced. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta try that too. Are we getting you hooked on speedruns and gunfire? Probably shortly after I get hooked on gunfire at all as a concept. Okay. So the plan is to do Dreadwind, and then provided that doesn't take too long, we just edit the save and do Ghostblade as well. We'll have to wait until I get control to make sure the setup's good and everything. Dreadwind at what cast level? 100. It's melee, so we go to 100. Dreadwind, Cleansing Flames, Ghostblade, those all go to 100. Storm Dragon's Judgment, 100. Also, doubt Reckoning want to play silly builds more than min-max RNG hells. You know me better when it comes to that, so yeah, I'll take your word for it. Say better use. It's basically just a Wonderlands version of the From Dark Hell BL3 one. If Zach had made an editor for Wonderlands, I'd be using that because like it's better. But yeah, looking for Hatsune Miku to download so I can practice for Sekiro. Reminds me, didn't I fucking around with that Ghostblade Universal Soldier setup? It's really fun. I'll have to try something like that out because it does sound like a fun build archetype. Like gun Stabomancer that isn't just there for From the Shadows. That's pretty cool. The Shadows only playthrough one. That's just the regular speedrun. Okay, so yeah, we got Dreadwind. We've got massively overspec Berserker Tree, but that's not a downside because Berserker Tree is just that good. In the Stabo tree, we've just got the 8 points that help every build. 3 in haste for movement speed, and then we've got potent poisons just to get down the tree and exploit their weakness. or damage, and to directly benefit off of the duration we'll get for our status effects for both poisons. Everything else is over in the Bird Tree. Blast Chill is there for our downtime. We've got Max Blood Frenzy, Max Ancient Fury, which are things I don't do on a lot of Burr builds. But the idea behind this isn't Alchemical Agent Dreadwind, this is Blood of the Fallen Dreadwind. So the entire point is we're going to try to spin as long as we possibly can, whenever we possibly can. Hey Coombs, thanks for the birthday wishes, I appreciate it. Good to see you. Hey Pragmatic, how are you? Got it to do C75 pretty consistently with a little bit of theory crafting I did, minus some struggling on certain bosses, just be user as well. That's promising. Hero points, I have max strength, max constitution, and remainder dexterity. I'm village idiot here. Okay, that's fine. I just didn't bother to change that. Gear-wise, we have a kobold because it's shell casing friendly and has the melee thing. We got a banshee with Dreadwind enchant. We got shell casing rings with triple duration rolls, so we can just spin for a long time. Mace Wardu here is for some tank. On armor defense, Mace Wardu with a melee setup, you get really tanky, but also enemies that hit you just chunk themselves. I don't have Alchemical Agent, so it won't be as good as it would be, but they will still chunk themselves, and I can always switch to a body rune if I feel the need. Maybe I switch to a body rune right off the bat. I think I could do that. Yeah, we'll do that for now. We'll do that because I don't have alchemical. I don't know how much damage I actually need for this. I have an empowering sigil here. Just because I didn't bother to change my spell at all. I'm sure it'll be fine. Question mark. We got a Harbinger because I really enjoy a Harbinger Dreadwind. It gives you running Dreadwind and unarmored defense, and Harbinger lets you just kind of have some free regen in the front couple seconds of your spin. And the forced capacity roll on the Harbinger does give you a lot of HP because of unarmored defense as well. So cooldown rate there, just because haha funny spin more. And then pretty standard looking Amnesia. 3 Old Ways, 2 Iron Skull, just because that's what I have. So I didn't edit much for this. And then Stavomatic is for dealing with things that I cannot Dreadwind. Fear Not is there for applying crossbolts as I spin, and Tooth Raiders for when I want stronger crossbolts before I spin. Yo, Ducky Dino, thank you for the $69. That's very generous of you. Very nice of you. Thank you so much. It really goes a long way. Thank you. Always generous. Means the world. Please send help at Bolton All-Nighter playing Lost Judgment. It sounds like you're doing things correctly. Force Unleashed, that's a banger game. It's a banger game. Yeah, alright, let's do the thing. Now we spin it. And you can see we have a lot of spin duration. And we get a chunk every time we kill something. So we're going to be spinning as much as humanly possible. Wish you would vomit. Not the first time someone said that to me. I'm gonna have to keep track. Hitting the button to end it early is also gonna increment the counter, so I'll just have to force it down 1 every time I end it early. It's not a big deal. How did your character not fall over after that long was spent? This is why we talked about this months ago, but I'm pretty sure the Berserker is a trained ballerina, or ballerino, or ballerinas, because that sounds funny. Berserkers have to do ballet to multi-class into this, because like there's no shot otherwise. There's no other explanation. I thought I had more movement speed to make that jump. I did not. This gun looks broken? Yeah. It's, this is a legitimate gun. It's just, it can spawn like this. For some reason, with a patch at some point in time, they broke this particular SMG to be able to roll, parts that it visually doesn't look like it should be able to, but it can. Just rolls a melee part that isn't physically attached to it. You can see my weapon out. Okay, bug-free game. This do-gooder's a goner. I'm not gonna read that one, but yeah, good luck with that move. Morning, Urban Mech. How's the ISP doing today? It's doing well today. Starting last night, it's been something approaching normal. So, I haven't had any issues with it since last night. So that's good. After a bunch of fighting. Hey Herrera, how am I doing today? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Still kind of bummed that I didn't get to, I didn't have internet to do the annual birthday stream, but it's okay. We're vibing today. Hey RT Ninja, how are you? It's obviously going to be the fastest run. We cover the most ground, but because this is non-alchemical agent, some of our boss clear times are going to be on the slower end. Like, obviously that Ribula one could have gone faster if we had let him trigger our selective amnesia. And if I'd popped my spell beforehand, you know, applied debuffs, all that stuff. But I don't really feel the need to do that. I'll probably go into my inventory and equip a Twisted Delusion for Drill, because I will need the Soaked. But for the most part, I think we'll just be big chillin'. Against flying enemies, I'll have to whip out the Stab-O-Matic. Is what it is. What am I cutting? I just like that you can see my melee weapon. Just chillin'. Can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. What's up? Big Dreadwind is effective on Hammerzerker. Well, considering what I'm doing right now, I only have 8 points in the Stabo tree. So, yes. The effectiveness you're seeing here of Dreadwind, you can do with any multi-class. All Stabo is giving me here is the crit chance, the movement speed, and exploit their weakness. Bertree is good. Bertree is very good. Be slower with more crits from awe and armor. I would recommend, if you are using an action skill, you always, if that action skill is your primary method of dealing damage, you want to prioritize getting that class power primary first. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head if there is a combo that has awe on it with burr power primary. If there is, then sure. But if there's not, then no. You want burr power primary on your armor because that is directly just Dreadwind damage, whereas getting, say, awe is a chance of more Dreadwind damage. Still works out to less. But what you could do is any of the armor combos that give something something beneficial skill-wise that have Berserker's primary still. Yeah, any of those are fair game. Frostwilder's actually pretty good for non-alchemical Dreadwind. Obviously non-alchemical, but Frostwilder's pretty good for Dreadwind because you get affinity, and you can still get movement speed from Windrunner. And the armor combo works out well. Bugbarion's also good here because you can grab Bog Down and you can just have access to Soaked without having to run, without having to debuff before your spin, and also without having to run Cape of Tides. Silicon Redfall, I did not. Did not. You know, this game, Kid Icarus Uprising, I am not familiar. I like Bertree a lot. I've only done Bugbarian. Bertree is like, in terms of a tree that stands on its own, it's by far the most cohesive skill tree I'd say they've ever made. Like, if we're looking at a single skill tree, obviously it's a little disingenuous comparing lands skill trees like that, because Borderlands skill trees are not designed to be completely on their own, whereas Wonderland's skill trees are. But I'd say out of any skill tree they've ever made, Berserker's the most cohesive, if you're looking for just one tree. You get some competition if you're like, okay, pairs of skill trees, because then you have things like Flak Red and Flak Green, Moe's Blue and Moe's Purple, Amara Blue, Amara Purple. Stuff like that comes in, and then it's like, oh, okay, there's competition. But fucker. Assassin, that's all? Yeah, all good. Blackbird seems close on its own. The thing is, if you're doing anything that doesn't have the ability to crit, then Flak Red on its own gets a lot less attractive. Remember, Megavore only applies to bullets or things that are classified as bullets. And in terms of the amount of crit damage it gives you, it's the least of any quote-unquote crit-focused tree until you look at how Hunter's Eye works, particularly with Bounty Hunter, and then it gets weird. But, like, keep in mind that things such as some grenades, all melee, shield novas. None of that stuff can crit, so you're just not benefiting from the biggest things in that tree. Also, keep in mind that part of my criteria there, personally, for a single cohesive tree is inclusive of the action skill. And Rack Attack is great, but some of the biggest things you really want to support Rack Attack are over in the green tree. Namely, Eager to Impress and the power inside. Why are you up here? They're so onesie-twosies. What is this? Okay, enemy AI. I see you. I respect you. Mike, get over here. Come on. No, range. Melee's only weakness. That's why I run Executioner's Blade on my actual, like, well-rounded Dreadwind setup. But obviously we have Stab-O-Matic, and that's enough for playthrough purposes. Probably case for Flag Blue, highly cohesive, just inconsistently balanced. Yeah, it's just the first couple tiers of Flag Blue, depending on your build archetype, you get minimal value. Like, Persistence Hunter, one of the most inefficient gun damage per skill point spent skills, but obviously you get the duration. And if you're using Gamma Burst, then that duration can be beneficial, but sometimes it can be detrimental. Especially if you go for the Spamma Burst archetype, which is, I think, a little more efficient considering how the most valuable anoints work. And things like Revolter. So, like... And then in the first tier, the only other options you get are a highly situational pet-only skill, and then a less situational but also less desirable pet-only skill. So satisfying. This entire plaza, we just did one spin to clear all that. That was so sick. Universe is neat? It is. I wish they hadn't made it extremely buggy and then left it in that state. Gamma's a blue action skill, just pulling back to action. Skill is a part of tree point. like, Gamma Burst on its own does a lot as an action skill. Like, provides passive benefits. It's got some very useful augments for several different playstyles and enabling multiple interactions. It makes pets immortal. It gives pets a very powerful bonus element. Enables the Red Fang class mod, which is one of the best aggro redirection tools they've ever given us across all games. Could be worse. Gamma Burst could be Grav Snare. One of the pitched ideas for making Grav Snare less awful was that if Grav Snare had been included in Red Fang as well, like they added it to Red Fang when it came out, then that could have given it a lot of value, because then it'd be a Red Fang tool that you could turn on and off, which is not something you can easily do with Gamma. But they never did that. Any news on Wonderlands? Gearbox hasn't really given news on anything as of late. They launched 2 games in 2022, and now I think they're just working on other stuff. I don't know any more than you guys do. Also makes role reversal go better. Yeah, Throat Ripper plus Atomic Aroma is a really cool combo. But it also says a lot that Black Purple is called the Trapper Tree. You know, because of the Gravity Snare being a trap. But it has next to no synergy with that action skill. And instead has much more synergy with the Blue Tree action skill. I got distracted by wanting to spin into things. I'm supposed to be killing Zomboss. Oh, that stock pod breaking noise. It is satisfying, isn't it? Holy cow, is this the Quag? Is this the Swin? How you doing, Swin? The skill tree itself is the trap. You said it, Irish. It's the Wilhelm scream of pottery. Wilhelm. That's what the crossbolts are for. Ooh, hammer and anvil would be cool on this run as well. I didn't even think about that. That'd be really cool. I'll have to do that next time. Mr. Stone underscore Sean. How you doing? Hey, Dogman. Watched you Dreadwind for over a minute straight brings me joy. It's so satisfying, isn't it? Unrelated, figured out ideas for shared class mods and Oscillans. So far, I'm happy. Ooh, love to see that. First one I'm doing is another Risk Rain 2 reference, so it's even better. Love it. Absolutely love it. See, between what you've got with Oscillans and BL2 Wonderlands, that's the kind of thing that could keep me going back to that game. Shit, Quag's live. He is. Happy belated birthday. Thanks, Dex. Glad to be back. Finally, my ISP is, like, allowing me to stream. It was an involuntary vacation that I did not enjoy. It's a stomach growling. It's an involuntary vacation I did not enjoy. The only things of note I did were, I did a full playthrough of Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I binged all of, Vox Machina. That's it. Hammer and Anvil's a shield I loved when I first found it out. Never thought about it again. It's good for the same reasons, well, for some of the same reasons Mace Wardu can be made to be good. It does melee damage. And by default, anything that does melee damage in this game has a higher ceiling than most other things, because you can put a lot of formula into melee, and melee can trigger a bunch of beneficial effects. Also, you can get better mileage out of the crit system on melee, because you can get yourself to auto crits fairly easily. So yeah, Hammer and Anvil is good. Based on her weapon like Wardu is. I don't think so. I believe it has a fixed value, but you can still put more into that. Someone say birthday. Condolences for being a jerk. Recently finished Miles Morales because I don't want to be over. It's such a good game, Hazel. I really enjoyed it. And just the characterization. I think that's what made me like it so much. Like, Miles is so fucking likable. He's just a good kid. But yeah, yesterday was my birthday. Prepping for a high-profile demo at work, but I'll be working, lurking, watching Spin Wins a big W. Hey, good luck with that, Dex. Appreciate you hanging out. So is your movement speed faster with spell plus Dreadwind than just running? Yes. Casting a spell will increase the effect of haste, the Stabomancer skill, for 12 seconds. And Dreadwind, remember, gives you plus 20% movement speed while it's active. But I also have the Ward enchant that gives you more movement speed and damage the longer you spin. So I am faster while spinning. At least for, you know, around about 10 seconds. Ouchies. enemies. Time speed. So can't get those enchants to roll. Yeah, that is the struggle. That did way more damage to me than I thought it would. Luckily, we got body room. Almost all in one spin. So sad we never got Donald as Miles, but I do love what they did with him. We at least might get Donald Glover as the Prowler, maybe? Maybe? Copium? Still prefer Critical Role's second campaign more over the original Vox Machina one, mainly because it's what got me into their stuff, so now they've confirmed an anime show based on that, I'm even more interested. Yeah, I have not consumed any of the Critical Role stuff firsthand. Just Vox Machina is my way of somewhat catching up, but I am excited that they're doing the second campaign as well. That'll be cool. Had to run for dentist appointment. Talk to you later. Sounds good, Dogman. Thanks for stopping by. Uh-oh. That's an ouchie. Berserker moment. Skip's already saved you about half an hour. It saves you so much time. Blood of the Fallen. Going crazy. We still spinning. That was a long spin. See, this is the efficiency Blizzard wishes it had. Now, I'm actually not sure how this will fare against Banshee. How can I do this? That was a good chunk, but the knockback kind of ruined that. Could have one-cycled. Hey, McBain, thanks for gifting the sub to Huntress. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yo, you can stop, Banshee. Holy shit. You normally do this for this long? There we go. It took a minute, but... Can't melee Banshee, by the way. I can stop anytime she's not addicted. What do you mean? You get to spin for that long, she gets to scream for that long. Honestly, that's pretty fair. Spin to win IRL. Chat, I didn't pee before this, and I gotta. I guess I'll plan out. I'll go pee during the Dragon Lord's monologue right after Nightmare. So, in like an hour. Need to play more Godfall. Godfall good. Yeah, it does remind me of the thing in this guy in Lightbringer. It will never not be cool. And I think it's growing on me toward looking away from the explosion like an absolute legend. Look how cinematic that shit is. Doesn't even get knocked back. He's that much of a Chad. Absolute mountain. The notion. Ever played Oscillants? Yes, I did on stream. Hi, Denalia. The one time we played BL2. Hey, I always said if I was gonna play BL2 on stream, it would be because of that, and sure enough. Yeah, I did five streams, BL2 with a bunch of mods, but the biggest stars were Oscillans, BL2 Wonderlands, and BL2 Eternal. A bunch of other things. Too many to list in a short conversation, but those were the most impactful ones in my experience. Interested in BL2 Redux? There's a BL2 Redux? Didn't know. The thing with BL2 overhaul mods and me is that I like overhaul mods because they make BL2 into not BL2. I don't want a more refined BL2 experience, I want BL2 to not be BL2.
Cheers.
That's the big thing with me. Hey Chester, thank you for the 15 months with the 11 streak. Cheers to you as well. I appreciate it, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. BL2 Exodus. Not really. For the reasons I listed, and overall mods don't tend to be compatible with each other like that, and I already found the one that kind of captures what I want the most. I have read through some of the things that Exodus offers, and while it does do some cool stuff, it's just, I already found the overhaul for me. A big part of that is, Oscillants was, as the creator right there can tell you, designed for people like me who don't like the game to get them to like the game. What's your strongest Wonderlands build you've made, in your opinion? I've done a lot to min-max both of the Clawbringer's action skills in melee builds. I've gotten Cleansing Flames to the point where it can one-shot bosses on Chaos 100. And while that's more a testament to the power of Alchemical Agent, it's still noteworthy to me because it also bypasses the other downsides of Cleansing Flames in a fun way. Like, the survivability is interactive and the cooldown issue is mostly gone. So probably that one. Out of ones I've made. I wouldn't say it's the strongest of Wonderland's builds. in general, but out of ones I've made, probably that. Did not mean to step into that, but I think I'm okay. Exodus's main shtick is just adding more items, but that doesn't fix the game's core. Yeah, exactly that. I have core problems with how BL2 approached certain things and how it works. So, more content into the game just isn't enough for me. Is it gonna work this time? It worked this time. It's only like 2 or 3 of the playthroughs where that lift hasn't worked, but when it fails, it's annoying. You'll live for slag, though. Absolutely. My life for slag. For anyone who doesn't know me, that was a joke. Slag is one of the worst game mechanics they've ever made, and rest and piss dog shit debuff mechanic. They did it better in BL1. They did it better in TPS. Did it better in BL3. Did it better in Wonderlands. Well, this is a juicy spot to spin. Beautiful. Someone asked me why people go back to play BL2 or BL3. Response was rose into glasses. It's not just that. There are legitimately things that BL2 actually does better. Story pacing, for one. In general, for a bunch of reasons, the playthrough experience is probably a little more enjoyable. It's just BL3 mitigates that by not forcing you to do it, 3+ times to get the end game, but throw that out, and the playthrough experience baseline of BL2 is just a little more enjoyable. Forcing people to have to actually do a specific thing to increase their difficulty at endgame, like, do peak to get OP levels, I think that's better designed than allowing people to just pick whatever mayhem they want. Those are a couple very notable things that I feel BL2 did better. Okay, we got a mimic. Nice. spam ping Zeta to make Zeta halt BL2 when that's compatible. I'm sure it'll be super easy, not a pain at all. Oh yeah, no doubt. I prefer TPS's story pacing. I think you're one of the only people to say that. TPS has a section where the pacing just falls off a cliff and the level scaling falls off a cliff to match it. And that's one of the biggest criticisms of that game. Ow. Love TPS. If I had the endgame that BL3 did, I'd never play anything else. I would sink a lot of time into it if it had the endgame of BL3. Yeah, for sure. Like, the character design is really exceptional in that game. It's got some good stuff, but it's like, having just a really good arena is not enough to keep people interested. For I imagine the same reason having just Chaos Chamber wears thin for some people for this game. Even though just Chaos Chamber is pretty expensive if you're going to have just a thing, because once again, Chaos Chamber is a bunch of activities in a clown car. But having variety is pretty important for these kinds of games. Like for endgame tier mobbing, having just peak for BL2 is not enough for me. Because there's fun mobbing in other parts of the game, but it's not endgame tier in terms of difficulty scaling, and or it's not repeatable. Slaughters in that game are not repeatable. As fun as it is to mob through Heroes Pass and Bloodshot, the difficulty isn't there. Harbinger. $51-minute chance ain't bad. I was honestly expecting this to be slower. TVS is still probably my #1 Borderlands game. It's just got very good design. Criminally underrated game. But it was unfortunate enough to follow up a game that no one was willing to let go of, and then also had a curtailed development cycle because of studio issues. Berserker moment. I just keep whacking it. Fine eventually, right? Sure enough. High-tech solutions. TPS also launched with a couple crippling issues, they had to walk back. Same thing happened with each lands game, though. Remember when BL2 launched with a save corrupting virus? Remember when BL3 you couldn't ADS because it would murder your frame rate? And the PS4 version was nearly unplayable because any dense mobbing would give you a blue screen? No, but I don't remember BL2 launch. Don't play unfair. Yeah, BL2 had a bug that functioned as a virus infecting your saves, that if you went to a certain place, you and anyone who joined your games, or anyone whose games you joined, would suffer from a corrupted save file. They had to fix that. Also, the only raid boss in the game was on a 24-hour lockout. So launch BL2 had literally no endgame after you fought that one enemy. Each lands game has taken some time to hit its sweet spot. Every single one of them. TPS was simply never given the time. Every time I see Temple of Sacrifice for this objective, I think of the Star Wars The Old Republic raid. Every time. It's a good raid. So remember pre-ordering TPS the day it launched, streaming all day and spending 2 hours killing the last boss. I forgot the one rule in gaming. Big glowing spots equals shoot there. Oh no. She's Wolfenstein for 2 hours? Why are you like this? This is such a fun gameplay loop. Setting up and then spin, spin, spin. Okay, I hope I don't get the chaos bug here and invalidate the drill fight, because then I'll have to save quit and walk that back, but... No, we're good. We're chilling. Jack maybe Timothy? Timothy? Oh, fly phase 2. Ooh. There we go. Obligatory drill is... Hey, Ferric. Happy late birthday. Thank you. I got stuck on the hitbox. That's actually super tragic. I don't have the damage. Hitbox woes. Alright, yeah, run that back. Gotta do that phase again. Because hitboxes... Friends all just say, Jack, well, they're wrong. It's like calling Amara Maya. Like, huh? See? Without the hitbox problem. Amaya. I mean, it works. Girl who prefers. What about him shit he can do with the meat grinders? It's disgusting. I like how interactive Timothy is for a, you know, one-note character. He still manages to have interactivity. Alright, I'm gonna pee. I'm gonna lose some time to this, but oh well. Use the litter box. It was closer. So I had an idea the other day. Figured I'd run by you guys once I'm, you know, able to stream again. So like, I want to do a subathon to kind of recoup some of the losses from me having a very involuntarily inconsistent stream schedule the last few months. But I wanted to make it interesting enough and give you guys proper incentive for, you know, good bang for your buck. So I was thinking about doing a BL3 subathon where I'm doing takedowns. And every sub is another takedown. Now, that can quickly get very out of control with the number of takedowns you can make me do. But I think that'd be cool. Probably will be doing so many. That's the idea. Takedown attempts or clears? Clears. Like, for reference, they had that community challenge in BL3 a while ago where, you know, we had to, as a community, do enough takedowns to unlock that head skin. I was pulling like 50 a day doing that. And I could have done more, it's just, I was chilling and I did 50 a day. So, like, there's precedent for this. BL3 VH is the most like Roland Axton in your opinion? Most like Roland Axton. I guess, like, the turret screams Mose or Zane the most. Axton has his affinity for grenades, so that makes me think Mose a little more. Like, a big part of Axton that neither Roland nor Mose reflect is... I guess Mose can get some theoretical movement speed. I'm gonna Sabomatic these because they're out of range. Well, I guess Zane because Axton moves really fast, but like Roland doesn't. And Axton has really good aggro control, whereas Zane has like some, and Mose has basically none. So I don't know, it doesn't quite fit as well. I think there's a few reasons why Mose as a character is more popular than both Roland and Axton were in their games. I think it's because she doesn't fit into that archetype. I'm not gonna fall in the bone hole. Honestly, say Flag's better with nades than Mose, could be wrong. Wouldn't say better, they are competitive with one another. They're competitive with one another. Mose can reach higher peaks But it's a case of, like, Short Fuse versus Eraser. Both can kill an order of magnitude greater than what anything in the game demands, so at a certain point it doesn't matter how hard you one-shot something. Mo's can pull more damage with most grenades. But again, it doesn't matter because both do enough to trivialize the entire game with grenades. And then Flak is better... smooth... has, like, more smooth non-gun gameplay in other areas to complement that. So Flak does non-gun better, even though Mo's does grenade better. So I'd say they're relative to one another. I don't think there's a clear winner there. Disclaimer, we obviously don't include Minesweeper in this because that'd be insane. You say to those who say BL3 is too easy and doesn't provide much challenge, I'd say get more creative. I would say do challenge runs that put you outside of your comfort zone. I'd say do build types that you've never experienced before. I'd say get into things like time trials that demand that you flex different muscles. I'd say play content that's harder than what you're used to. Because the vast majority of people who say things like that, for example, never step foot in the True Guardian takedown. Just saying. They don't push times in time trials. They don't do entire builds to prove that certain things are overlooked. Such as Stone Swan doing Bird of Prey Amara builds. Me doing Baby Maker builds. Lazy doing the entire game on Punchbot with 0 skill points. Someone recommend me a song. Putting me on the spot here. I can't think of any songs when I'm put on the spot like that. Funny how that works. And on a prayer, yeah, there you go. That's a song. I've told you guys about the time I was going to a Bon Jovi concert and he was late and never showed up. Or at least he didn't show up in 2 hours, so we left, and then he immediately showed up after we left. That was a whole thing. Hey son, spin to win? Yeah. A lot of those people want to do playthroughs, no limitations to the runs. Yeah, exactly, that's when. So Waster just doesn't do enough damage to kill me. It's kind of funny. Like, I was just tanking all of those hits. He just doesn't do enough. Cool. Backstreet's back. Yes. How's the gaming? The gaming is gaming, Vocal. Good to see you. How are you? Yeah, you'll see people say things like, BL3 is so much easier than BL2. And while you can construct an argument for that being true in certain scenarios, like I'd say OP10 raid bossing is harder than Mayhem 10 raid bossing. That's not the metric that's used. It's like, oh, I play BL2 at OP0 and grab the same 3 items every run while playing Salvador, and it's so much harder than BL3 where I play Amara and grab the same 3 items every playthrough, and you know, it's like, I don't know if I can agree with that, because perceived difficulty is different depending on how far you push in the game's difficulty levels. Also, difficulty isn't exactly a clean metric. We talked about at the beginning of the stream how customization and difficulty is becoming more common in gaming, and that's a good thing. You have things like enemy aggression sliders and dodge window timing and things like that. It's not as simple anymore as bigger health bar, bigger damage number in many cases. But even in games where that is the definition of difficulty, well, it still depends. And game only more difficult because the scaling is ass. Exactly, Bo. There's a couple enemies that are genuinely well designed and force you to do certain things that get you out of your comfort zone. Like Veracitus, you know, bugs aside, was designed to counter things that players do, such as the B shield. Designed to be extremely aggressive, mandating that you get some movement speed if you're going to outrange. Forces some target swapping, you know, stuff like that. Hyperius does a couple of those things too. Hatterax does a couple of those things too. That's why those enemies just kind of feel different from other ones. But the vast majority of the difficulty there is that the items are balanced so horribly compared to the enemies, and then you have things like Slag and certain characters just not having toolkits friendly to non-speed kill bossing. That, like, it's not that it's hard, it's just that your options are so extremely limited, which can be a function of difficulty, but it's usually a byproduct, not, you know, directly by making things not good. Like, your options narrow in endgame in this game, in BL3, but that's because enemies get a lot tougher and you need to be more discerning about how your build works. It's not because they just never made any of the items good. There's a fine line there, but it does exist. Like most uniques in BL2 just are shit items. Doesn't really create difficulty, it just means most things suck. Just like RPG enemies, they do force you to play differently, prioritize them, which I do find nice. Yeah. RPG loaders in BL2, and then you have COV badasses in BL3. They both accomplish that. Anointed enemies in BL3 are also a good example of actual difficulty, but you can see that a lot of people hate them because they force you to play differently and because they have a chance of actually killing you. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about militants sitting there with their "fuck you, I'm immune to almost everything" barrier. I'm talking about things like tinks, where you need to figure out how to lock them down. You need to keep an eye on them. You need to prioritize them. And people running around saying anointed tinks are unfair. Nope. Nope. That is aversion to difficulty. I guess I gotta shoot these. need to prioritize enemies is already a byproduct of sort of good enemy balance. I would say so. CBS Glitch Arena level 9 with Vampire modifier, that was difficulty, could never complete it. Might do some TPS at some point this year. Did a playthrough on stream back in 2020. Or was that 2021? It was one of those years. A Blaster Goliath spawns when I'm running OP-10-1 life, it starts swearing, so it's a back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you there. Like, as much as I defend the existence of anointed takes in BL3, and I think they're a good way of changing the pace of combat, and, good enemy design in terms of, hey, prioritize this or you're gonna have a bad time the longer it's unchecked. Anytime one spawns, like when I'm doing trials speedruns for time trials, I just have the worst time because extra anointed spawns in Proving Grounds are just hell. But that's from a speedrunning context, that's not from a overall game balance context. While the two are connected, and I think that people who decide to throw out things like speedrunning usage metrics are being disingenuous. Like, I've had people try to tell me grenades aren't good in BL3, and then I'm like, okay, then why are most speedruns on Flak and Mo's heavily reliant on grenades? They're like, well, that doesn't count. I'm like, it does. No, it's relevant, but I don't think that an enemy being frustrating in a speedrun makes it inherently bad game design. Because if anything, that just means that it's doing its job of slowing down the flow and forcing you to be more calculating. That was a very satisfying spin link. Nullifiers and Warframes create a bubble shield around them, negates any null Warframe abilities. All active abilities get disabled if you step inside. It's very easier than a field bullshit. There's also mechanics built in to completely counter if you're aware of it. Yeah, I think something is still good design as long as there's counterplay. Like, reasonable counterplay, I should stress. Let's use Assault on Dragonkeep enemies as an example. There's not really counterplay to Skeletars just being what they are. Like, the counterplay there is just don't go down forehead. But hang on, what if you're running a build that does not have an interest in holding onto a Moxie weapon forever? What do? You know, that's something that there isn't reasonable counterplay. As frustrating as surveyors can be when you're doing, you know, Digipeak, guess what? There's counterplay. They're fragile as shit. They're not particularly difficult to hit as long as you know that they're coming. And they're extremely fragile. Counterplay. Ooh, good RNG. Shield surveyors are kind of bad though, because the bullet reflection is in effect before they even finish their shield animation. Bullet reflection is something that there is not reasonable counterplay. So it loops back around. That's why Badassosaurus sucks, because it's just a big thing that you don't want to get close to that has room-wide AoEs that also has bullet reflection, so it just severely cuts down the ways you can interact with it. And then that bleeds into territory like other badly designed fights, like Imelda in this game, where most things just can't interact with her. There's no counterplay to her hitboxes being stupid and her being out of range, teleporting constantly. Like, if there's no counterplay, it's bad design. Shoot the nullifier bubble, which causes it to shrink down until it's non-existent. You can shoot the drone at the top of the bubble to immediately destroy the entire shield and remove the ability for the shield to regen. It's just there to stop it from spamming abilities. Use your guns for a bit. Yeah, that seems logical. Like with Tinks in BL3, anointed Tinks, you can punch them to make them go back to regular size. Something a lot of people don't bother doing, but if you keep track of them, you melee them immediately. Not only does that stagger them, but it forces them to normal size. Wait, seriously? Yes. Counterplay. Also, an exclusive Amara thing is she can just grasp them, and then it kind of just turns off everything they can do. So there's not only counterplay for all characters, but there's character-specific tech. Even for militants, which are more on the side of bad design because that immunity shield is you can bypass that immunity with a few things. Blade Fury, Grease Trap, a couple other things. Splash damage, baby. Don't gotta worry about size if you don't have to hit in the first place. That's another example. Yeah. I think this run will be sub 2, which is pretty cool. Proof of this section being just well done is even without the dialogue, I still enjoy this. Heavy gunners and bombards and another faction in Warframe were notorious in being able to kill you in a second before they had a shield gating, so you always zeroed in on them when you noticed them. For anyone who played Outriders, snipers have been complained about in every stage of the game's life. A lot of those complaints came from people who didn't prioritize the snipers. So, like, they just let snipers free cast on them and then be like, oh, it's bullshit when I got one shot. No, you can't be one shot. You can be two shot. Now, granted, I do have some Devastator bias here, where they were never a threat to me. But I still prioritize them because it's a good habit. And I do also play some Pyro. So. On Pyro, you do have to. Pyro, you also get map-wide AoEs that don't respect line of sight, so you technically don't actually need to prioritize them, because they can't hit you. Did that not shatter? Oh. Ouchie. Got hit by a meeting. As soon as I opened chat, I was Wonderland's come. Oh, no, I looked at chat at the worst time. It was my fault. It's going. It's going. Except me spinning off a cliff like that. Oopsie. No, that's my fault. It's going. We spinning. We winning. There's a few oopsies here and there, but I feel like that, that makes the run more realistic in terms of, you know, having a little human error in the runtime gives you a better picture of what you can expect from action skills like this. Like, this Dreadwind run is still going to finish before the 2-hour mark, with having to reset to drill, with cliffing there, with fumbling a little bit on some flying enemies. And this is not full power Dreadwind. This is funny, haha, max duration Dreadwind. Totally different builds. We'll be doing funny, haha, max duration Ghostblade next. I do have to put together the gear and stuff for that, but we're gonna. Didn't want to get in range. Text and drive, I mean Dreadwind. Good advice either way. I asked you before about Redfall because I want to know what class to choose in game release. I haven't looked into it at all. I have no idea. I don't even know if I'm going to play it for... I have not paid any real attention to that game. This trickster never got the issues with snipers. You mean you actually used your kit to avoid them? Wow. There you. Not gonna get the phase skip here. Yeah, still have a stampede, but I know how to bet in PC. Good job. Imagine Division, but with vampires. Never played Division. Most I know about Division is I watched Cheese play it a few times. And I've been told I would like it. So it blows my mind. I pop off for a meeting, come back, and you beat the whole ass game. These challenge runs are fun for that reason. You can really see the power of some of the stuff in play. Okay, 89 Dreadwinds. 1 hour 36. Chaos 100. That's pretty good. Let's go travel for game anniversary to studio. Getting sick right now. 3 days to pull my shit together. Unsick. 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 It's not gonna help, but I certainly hope you feel better in time. Is that fastest? I think Spells was faster. How fast was Spells? It was like 128 or something. The Ambient Hex run was like 128. But this is second fastest. And this is second fastest with, like, a lot of screwing around. But there you go. Dreadwind is one of the fastest things to clear the entire game with in a geared run. We are going to do Ghostblade as well today, so stick around for that. Trying to figure out which weapon I'm going to use for that. It's between Great Axe and Twin Soul? Do Pickaxe. Between Great Axe, Pickaxe, and Twin Soul. Probably Pickaxe. Twin Soul because Burr. Twin Soul can get a slightly higher swing speed than the Pickaxe can. But, Descended, I guess I'll keep that. Nah, I don't need to keep that. But, Pickaxe gets much higher crit. And that's valuable. And forever is Twin Souls 2 healths? Yes. After I've experienced Elite Shield enemies regen, I'll not ever do it again. Okay, so the idea for this one is... Yeah, let's respec. I'm just going to use this save again. I go Body Rune again? There's an argument for Cursed Wit, because, Ghostblade doesn't go away when you go down. I think Body Rune still makes the most sense. We go Theurge. I'll have to look at other saves from my armor options, but... 116, 130. Yeah, we're gonna pilfer items from other saves for this, I think. Unironic Cursewit. Cursewit sees endgame usage at C100. Armor event, Tooth Fairy, and Laster today. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, featured Wastard is always good, because, White Riders. An armor event's always good. That's cool. Anyway, for this. So, we're still Burst Abo. Ghostblade, Haste. You just run the same tree, honestly. Like, the thing is, with Ghostblade, I have access to my gun, so I could like throw strikes. I could apply crossbolts as necessary. I can do all of that. It's not area damage, so I don't think I take that. Is there anything in here that really benefits me significantly? Not really. I guess Swift Death. Swift Death makes some sense. Snake Stick, why is it good? The Hydras it spawns are melee damage. Say this is the best combo for constant and rage upkeep. There's no best combo for that because you can do that with like basically anything. And rage is pretty easy to keep up. It's like at base, 15-second duration. Retriggering it gives you 35% of that back. As long as you're running something other than Reaper of Bones, that's like permanent uptime. And then you get with a single point in Blood Frenzy, each kill will give you back a second. Each point in Savagery gives you an extra second on the total. So like it's pretty easy to keep Enrage up all the time. Relentless Rage gives you Enrage when you get up. So I'm thinking with the rest of the points, max Swift Death. Not a lot that benefits Ghostblade here, honestly. Unironically, Savagery. 6% melee is more value than 3% over here. I guess Nimble Fingers would make sense for applying crossbolts faster if I'm going to be doing that, but that's not really going to be useful too often. Instinct for swap speed. Yeah, I guess maybe 2 Savagery, 3 Instinct. Cool. No AA, cringe build, honestly. Spell cooldown? No. Yeah, we're gonna go Theurge for getting it back if it should ever end. I just proc AA. Yes, all melee damage can. All melee damage. I mean it when I say that something being melee in this game just gives it an inherent advantage over anything else. Because of how many things it can trigger and how easy it is to get high crit chance. And how much formula you can stuff into it. Like, if it's melee, it's better. Just period. Like Splash in 3? Kind of, yeah. Same vibe, you can just do more with it. Now, let's look at what armors I have in here. So I want Stabo Primary. I don't really care what else it has going on, in all honesty. Stabo Primary is the biggest thing. Which armor do I want particularly? Suppose Amnesia is always good. Diamond Gauntlets is great for this. Diamond Gauntlets is really great for this. I can just stand still and get the bonus. From that. Because I wouldn't get the Swift Death if I'm standing still for that, but crit chance is good in the elemental damage. Pay money for a bank mod? Yo, same. Disclaimer, I would not actually pay money, but I would love to see bank stuff be better. I guess there's always Amnesia. See, I made Arsenal and BL2 but it had actually good skill. I did not. Keep going to redeem a Quag and remind myself it doesn't work right now. Yeah, it should work for the next stream. I forgot to reauthorize because, like, part of my troubleshooting was I cleared my cache and everything, and that cleared my logins. So I had to reset some passwords, including my Twitch. So I had to relink a couple times. And I inevitably forgot to relink everything. Like, that should be fine for next stream. HPLC had an armor. Yes. Yeah, they all did. Miastic Mail was 2, Tyrant's Truth was 3. 1 was Cape of Tides, 4 was Brutal Stampede. 4 was also Mosquito Mantle. It boosts types of attributes pretty much aren't boosted anywhere else with low value per point. Oh, that's cool. I do like that. Here's a Stabo Burr Diamond Gauntlets. I like this, honestly. I could run like 3 haste to Cold Snap. I could just run an Amalgam. Zoom around. Let's see, let me look at armor spreadsheet. I get move speed, all damage, melee crit chance, melee damage, and then dump stat. That's still cool. Sure, we'll do Amalgam. And now I gotta find my good pickaxe. Like my 18% crit one. That can stay, that can stay. I guess that can stay. But would I want a fortifying skill? No, I want that. I want that, yeah. Does Theurge make the most sense here? Like, there's also running crossbolts and doing Barbaload. I don't feel like listening to that sound for that long, though. Could go Slip and Stun. Ooh, I could go Slip and Stun. Let's see which one of these has the pickaxe I want. This one should, right? Hey, Rune. Tarnished Truth seems interesting. 70% gunspell or melee at the cost of your pets. And multi-class for 2 companions. It's not really desirable for the gun, but for spells, Spell Tyrant's Truth is optimal for Deadshot spellcasting. Because the spell damage it gives is not the conventional spell damage, so you just give up your Demi-Lich for 35%, what is effectively a fresh multiplier. I could go with the 21 crit one. Have an ancient with that? No. 19 140, 21 130. Put them both away. Mess with both of those. I guess spell-wise, a Smithy's Ire would be thematic here. I don't know what to put for the spell for this. Like, I run a Fortifying Sigil a lot of the time when I'm doing Ghostblade, normally. I guess there's always Inflammation Theurge, but let's go Fortifying and, yeah. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, Magic Mail seems amazing for specifically top builds. It is. It's quite good for that. Also make that shared class mod, aka any character can use it, which also gives a bullet damage boost. Other than that, 1/0 skill, it's a fresh mult too. It's always cool. $21 $130. That's my crit chance. 59. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do I want ASALE there? Yeah, I guess I do. That's fine there. Let's reroll this. Because I'm going to try to limit how much I actually swing. Honestly, that works. That's fine. I could go like spellcast melee or something here. Ever consider doing a single class challenge run? I did that already. I did that with Berserker. I also did that with the the barrage run was Spore Warden only, so I've done 2 single class runs. I believe most people are still well past worried about it, and once a free sword explosion, they just dropped a shift key code for it. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Jester. Rename you Ghostblade. That should be fine there. Amalgam. What are the stats on my amalgam? What was the skills distribution? Let's try that. And I wanted move speed. Melee crit chance. Melee damage. All damage. Or make sure it's not 24-hour. I'm American, yeah. America. Just realized something. If the subtitles are broken for Forspoken, played with audio on because I can't hear without subtitles. I watch all shows with subtitles on now. At first it was like a, hey, this is nice thing, but now it's like I complain if I don't have subtitles. Subtitle entitlement, if you will. Okay, so move speed, slash damage, melee crit chance, melee damage, all damage. Cool. I'm just checking this save before I do the reset thing and we do another run. After I go to the bathroom again, because my bladder is not used to me streaming already. It's never used to me streaming. We're good there, good there. Oh no, that's the other skill. Gotta change that. I want to say 10 is haste. Everything else right, though? Yeah, that all seems fine. Skills are good. Cool. Only ever played Fallout 4, so I've never understood the hype. A big thing with New Vegas is it really goes hard on the RPG elements. It's something that 4 didn't do as much. 4 has tighter gameplay, but New Vegas has better RPG elements. That's all it is, really. From I can't speak. Forspoken to bladder to a Brazilian, Moo never fails to surprise. Yeah, okay, that's right. 2 cold snap, 3 haste. So we got a movement speed. At 48% after we cast a spell. Then we've got 30% while we're enraged. So 78% move speed from tree. We got another 39.5 here. Yeah, we can be zooming. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on Slip and Sun here just so I can have the urge for uptime purposes. Alright. Now I go over to this other editor. Hey Viper, Redemption's broken right now. I'll fix it. I'll fix it for next year. But hello. You are just in time. We're actually about to start the Ghostblade run. I'll just do it again. Quag, 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 shag, quag. We are about to Ghostblade. Let me just, So I put Ghostblade actions here because it's going to be starting Ghostblade and also moving Ghostblade. Redeem the Sword Explosion Shift code? I have not. I just found out about it a couple minutes ago, and I don't care enough to do it. Oh, the more open mind this time, actually explore and whatnot. Just need to figure out what build I want to do. That's fair. The RPG struggle. Yeah, redeems for sound things don't work right now, Denalia. I'll fix them for next stream. Hope the rocks are too loud. IMO quality-wise, I think 3 in New Vegas are better, but 4 was infinitely more playable, which is a weird place to be. Yeah, I think 4 is a better gameplay experience, but I still prefer the games that 3 in New Vegas were. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, I'll be right back, and then we'll get started.